great company for markers, paint markers, but I got them. My upstairs roommate has my other paint markers because, like I said, I'm not big into paint markers. He's an artist upstairs too. So sometimes him and I, we do art together. So him and I are always doing art. And so, I give him my stuff that I don't want. I try all the markers out. If I don't like, I give to him. Because I know he would like it. Because he's not the type of person to say, oh, I'm going to try this paint marker. I'm going to try that paint marker. He likes everything. I know he's picky in colored pencils, but we're not getting into that. We're talking about markers and paint markers and all that type of stuff. Well, anyways, if you want to get these, get them. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you like, sub, share, hit the bell icon for more future videos. Now, there's many types of markers that you can use in your art, depending on what art you want to do, depending on what kind of style, whatever it may be, there's different types of markers for different types of stuff. Now, I don't really like some forms of markers that a lot of people do like. I'm very picky in my art. I'm very picky in what I do. And I try to progress in my art. And I want to show you guys that you can use whatever you like to use, whatever material you like to use in doing your art. But for me, I am a Sharpie type of person and a Bic type of person. Now, these are the type of markers I love to use. But there's a bunch of different markers you can use. And there's also different types of paint markers as well. Now, there's Sharpies, there's Bic, there's, what else is there? There's paint markers, like I said. I like paint markers, don't get me wrong. I've had deco markers, I've had a bunch of different types, a Sharpie marker or paint markers, Sharpie paint markers. I've had Malto. But for me, I don't like paint markers. I do have them and I still do use them on occasion, but I don't like using paint markers. And the reason for that is because if you don't have a marker or a paint marker that works, but there's still ink in the paint marker, it ends up bleeding. Meaning, if you dab, which you have to do for paint markers, you have to, there's a little nib, like there's nibs, right? Different kinds. But with paint markers, before you start using the paint marker, and it's a brand new paint marker, you have to unwrap the paint marker, because it always has a wrap around it, because they're new. And every single time you have a brand new paint marker, you have to take a piece of paper or whatever you want to start nibbing, or whatever you want to dab it, to get the paint to come out of the top, right? out of this tube onto the nib. Now you keep dabbing. If you press the nib onto the paper for a few seconds, it will either smudge, where it goes everywhere, or it just makes a complete mess. And I hate messes. I like to be very neat with my art. I like to be I'm a very, very hard type of artist, because even if it's the perfect art in your eyes, I'll still throw out my art, because I have to make it so good that it meets my expectations, even if it's the best crisp lines, even if it's the best paint or the best markers, and it is perfect on paper in your eyes, and I don't like it, I rip it up and throw it out. But we're not talking about my art. We're talking about paint markers and markers in general. There's also paint markers that a lot of people use nowadays, and that's Posco. Posco markers are the type of markers that I can deal with. I don't like them, but I could deal with it. Meaning, if I have to use a paint marker, those are the paint markers I'll go to use. I don't like Deco. I don't like Sharpie paint markers. I don't like Malto. I don't like certain paint markers. I don't like paint markers in general because they bleed. It just makes it a mess. And I'm a lefty, so when I draw, my hand goes across the paper and smudges everything. Now, I do put a piece of paper over my left hand, so when I do draw and I do my art, my hand is guiding along the piece of paper instead of the drawing itself, so that it doesn't smudge. But that's a whole nother process of art. But anyways, I have Posco markers. You know, I like them. I don't knock them down. They're a great company for markers, paint markers. But I got them. My upstairs roommate has my other paint markers because, like I said, I'm not big into paint markers. He's an artist upstairs too. So sometimes him and I, we do art together. So him and I are always doing art. And so, I give him my stuff that I don't want. I try all the markers out. If I don't like, I give to him, because I know he would like it. Because he's not the type of person to say, oh, I'm going to try this paint marker, I'm going to try that paint marker. He likes everything. I know he's picky in colored pencils, but we're not getting into that. We're talking about markers and paint markers and all that type of stuff. Well, anyways, if you want to get these, get them. They're really good. Any type of marker that I'm talking about now, like Sharpies and Bic and Posco and all of it, Malto and any other paint markers and every other marker out there, go buy them. Go try them out. See what you like. Don't go saying, oh, this person doesn't like it, so that might not be a good marker to buy. No, there's opinions on everything that you do in life. There's some facts that are true, and there's some opinions. And most opinions go along with, oh, I don't like this marker. That's someone's opinion. Or, I like this marker. That's an opinion. Because one person that likes this marker, another person might not. Another person might say, oh, I hate this marker. And another person might say, I love it. So, there's many different ways of getting your point across in certain things you do in life with markers. Now, there's different styles, which is graffiti style art. There's